Hey, to that y'all family, may the peace of y'all come upon you when you learn to obey him, brothers and sisters. This is a very important video I'm going to do at this time. We're going to talk about this fourth and last beast. But we got to cover a little bit of the time period of the third beast. Yes, brothers and sisters, when the third beast was reigning on the earth and went in and conquered Babylon. We're going to look at that, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And so the second beast was Babylon. And the third beast was Persia, which is the ruling government that ruled the earth at that time, the mass of the earth. It's very important. So we're going to look at the time period in our history. In this translation, you can see the word Jew, but the Jew referring to the Abaru people, who are Yada and Yad. So we're talking about the Yahudi people, the people who praise Yah. But they use this term Jew right here in the translation. So right here, we're looking at the Persian kingdom right here. This is a very important time period. This is the third beast. And in the book of Daniel, it shows you four beasts, four governments that are going to rule the earth. And we're going to never get past the fourth. And today, we are in the time period of the fourth beast that will be the last ruling government at this earth before the kingdom of Yah take reign. So right here, we talk about Persia, the Persian time period. Who was the Persians? The Iranians. So the Persians, it said, the Yahudi fed well. They fed well under the Persian rule. Cyrus has given them permission to return to Yashalom. They got Jerusalem, but it's Yashalom. Cyrus was the last Messiah that was on the earth, brothers and sisters. And he was a Persian ruler, king, that Abiyah used to give permission and allow the Yahudi, the people of Yada, to return back to Yashalom to rebuild the second temple, and rebuild their temple. And although they met opposition from the inhabitants of the Palestinians, it was dedicated during the reign of Darius. See, when Darius took office of the Persian Empire, the temple was rededicated. The second temple was built during the reign of Darius. But this Cyrus that you can see in Daniel talk about, he died. But he was a Persian emperor or king. He ruled the kingdom. And he conquered Babylon. Cyrus with the Medes. The Medes came in, crushed them. Cyrus, the Medes and Persian, was part of the third kingdom that ruled the earth at that time, so keep that in mind. So it said the reign of Darius great. It said Ezra, the scribe, and Nehemiah, the lawman, the layman, sought to strengthen the Palestinians. See, the Palestinians, Yahudi community. See, they were dwelling amongst each other and encouraged their loyalty to the law of Bara, the Creator. For about a century and a half, that's 150 years after Nehemiah's time, the Persian Empire exercised control over Yadea. And the Yahudi were permitted to observe, they got religious ordinance without, but it's not religious, but they use the word religious, but the practice of the customs of keeping the feast. That's what they saying Red did. Our Torah duties, that's what they saying. See, the ordinance, the statutes, without interference. It said the Yahudi, not Yahudi, from Yadea was ruled by high priests. See, Yad was ruled by the high priests that they had at that time, who were responsible to the Persian government. See that? There was so Shoei Red did. They didn't have dominance. They didn't have control. They didn't have sovereignty of the land. They didn't have the independence. There was under the Persian empire. See, the government ruled. That's what government mean. Under they ruled. It's but they was allowed, see, to operate and do certain functions. So that here's a fact which ensure the Yahudis a large measure of autonomy, see, peace. At the same time, however, it made a political office of the priesthood and sold the seed of further troubles. You see that, brothers and sisters? Everything started going out of the whack of Yah. It became a political office. Favors here and favors there, according to the influence of the outside, but not of Yah. That's what they showing Red did. And it sowed the further seed of future troubles. It's a contest for the office of high priests were marked by jealousy. You see that? Now they were going to contest it. And the system of Yah that he had set wasn't built upon contest. It was always within the family of the Levites that a high priest would proceed. But now it began to have contest for the office of high priest, were marked by jealousy, intrigue, and even murder. And so Yohanan, son of Yaada, they got Nehemiah, you go there and read some information there, 12:22, is reported to have slain his brother Yahshua. See, this is where you got Yahshua or Yahoshua, or some people say Yahawashai, Yahushua, within the temple precinct. You see right there, show you how back during that time period. I'm going to cut it off here. I just want to show you that piece during the Persian time period. Some things that was going on in the land. And the jealousy even among Yada, and the infighting, and the removing away from Yah order of how the priesthood should be run. They went into a political setting. Jealousy arose, and they covered that position of authority. Brothers, all out of the will of Yah, brothers and sisters, not regarding the anointing that Abiyah put on their position. Yes. By his order. They left the orders of Yah. So this went on, brothers and sisters. All the hatred and jealousy and all the sin. So right there, so we see the Persian Empire. So let's go right here. We're going to go to Alexander the Great, right here. So it say the Persia was in the land. And even we're ruling out territory at that time, so keep that in mind. It say Persia never succeeded in subduing the Greeks. See, conquering the Greeks territory. So right here say, but an heir of Greek culture, it's an Alexander of Macedon, eventually brought to an end the Persian Empire. You see that? Under Alexander, when it said the Great of the Greeks conquered the third kingdom, which is still conquered the third kingdom, which is the Greek kingdom, is the only kingdom that remains on the earth that go by many different names, but are ruled by the Europeans. So you remember the Greeks are European, of the European culture, nature, and all the influence is still in the earth and spread all over earth of the Greek philosophy, religion, and everything. Like we got Catholicism, Christianity, Zeus, Jesus, is all of the same culture. So right here say Alexander was not simply a power-mad despot, a pupil of the philosopher Aristotle. He was thoroughly convinced that the Greek culture, he was thoroughly convinced that the Greek culture, the way of life, the way they do things, was the one force that could unify the world. You see that, brothers and sisters? The world army, the one world army, is all coming from this philosopher Aristotle, passed down to this one, Alexander the Great, and everybody today that followed them. It all stems back to Nimrod. So right here, with the past hands, and right now, it's still in the fourth kingdom that is divided and trying to unify the whole earth through the one world order. And that's why they even had the United Nations. It's a convinced that the Greek culture, you don't hear much about the Greek today, but Greek is this fourth beast. You hear about America, you hear about the Vatican, Rome, but all Rome is the same system and of the same line of Greek culture. That's why some people say the Roman Greek mythology tales. It's convinced that the Greek culture was one force that could unify the world. In 333 BC, this around 2,300 years ago, that's what they're saying, he passed from Macedonia into Asia Minor, went to the Asia Minor, is around the Turkish land, and defeated the Persian army stationed there. Then he moved southward through Syria and Palestine to Egypt. So all of this is very important. Egypt, Palestine, Syria, Tyre, and Gaza. Everybody know where Gaza at today. Each offered stubborn resistance. But delays did not discourage Alexander. So keep all these things in mind. They simply strengthened his determination to win. You see that? And there was no need for a campaign against the Yahudi, and indeed, legends makes Alexander a friend of Yahudi, of Yada people, Yaddua, the high priest, is said to have come out to meet Alexander, telling him of Daniel's prophecy that the Greek army will be victorious. See that? Daniel 8. So it's very important. See, the European people use this information. Even our own people, you got to remember that gave them information, knowledge of the prophecy. See, so they saw in the same way, they still operate the same thing by intelligence as an advantage. So who would want to kill the one that could aid them, to help them, to guide them, to encourage them? They was like, that what you call an informant, alerting your enemy, even the benefits or the non-benefits of what's going to come on them. So this that part of our history. You got the Note family and brothers and sisters. So let's keep reading. It said, I lost some place right here. Okay, Daniel 8. It said, although historians do not take the story seriously, they might not take it seriously because they want to reject it. It does illustrate the friendly feeling between the Yahudis and the Macedonians. See? And that's why some people are saying that might not take it too seriously, because don't put it past, this came by force. And some people at the force, people start, just like it's the same thing American. Look at all our brothers and sisters that join the police force, become lawyers, doctors, judges in this government, and don't want to go home. In America, at all this affliction, the 500 years in America, our people still, they love America, the Europeans, more than they love the people. It's the same setup. You can see that. They give away all their secrets, everything. And then what the Europeans turn it against you and make it like they created everything. They know all things. They did it to the Moors, brothers and sisters. They got this knowledge. They got this history. And then have everybody believe everybody else is dumb, and they the intelligent ones that brought all things to the earth. So keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. And so that's why some writers reject they claim. So I'm trying to get my thing refocused, and it's not focusing in like I wanted to at the moment. It say permitted that y'all do to, excuse me, let me go back up. I missed the part. It say it was illustrated the friendly feeling between the Jews. Well, my mind looking at Jew, but it's the Yahudi, the people of Yah, and the Macedonians conquered. Let me go back up real quick. It said it's illustrate the friendly feeling between the Yahudi and the Macedonians conqueror. It said Alexander permitted the Yahudi to observe their laws, granted them exemption from tributes, see, from taxes during the sabbatical years, and when he, see, basically gave them privileges, but showing who was ruled of our land, sabbatical years after they took it from the Persians. Defeated the Persians, it says sabbatical years, and when he built Alexandria in Egypt, 331 BC. You see that? So right now that show you he went in there and conquered as well Egypt. See, they never regained their power to this day, and you still had Greeks in there. So a lot of knowledge has been changed, brothers and sisters. Let's keep going. And he encouraged the Yahudi. See, this is very important about history. You got to know. He encouraged Yahudi parables to those of his Greek subjects. See, let me go back up. Let me go back. And he encouraged the Yahudis to settle there. See, where? In Egypt. And gave them privileges comparable to those of the Greek, his Greek subjects. See, that was under him, that was on his command. So see, he gave them privileges. Don't they do that in America? They according to some citizenship, they give you some citizenship rights, some privileges, all the ones that go into the military force and become government officials. It's the same setup, brother. So the Greek philosophy never changed. These are things I'm showing you right here. And as well, how to get out of it, you got to know what's been done way before you was born, family. It's Alexander was welcomed into Egypt as a deliverer from Persian oppression. See, but he was going in under the mind, with the mind to set up and rule the whole earth with their culture. And see, but he took out one conqueror. The Persian, remember, the Persian was ruling in Egypt as well. And then another ruling part, which is the last kingdom, came in and expelled the dominance of the Persian oppression. Now continue. And his victorious armies retraced their steps through the Palestine and Syria, then moved eastward. The city of Babylon and Persia fell to Alexander. You see that? And he pressed on as far as the Punjab region of India. Although mighty in battle, it was the Hellenistic culture rather, let me keep going, than the Macedonian rule that was Alexander's legacy to the Middle East. And he determined to found a new city in each country of his empire, which would serve as a model for the reordering of life of the country as a whole along Greek lines. You see that? Remodeling of all of these countries in order upon Greek lines. Materially speaking, this meant erections of fine public buildings, see, gymnasiums for games, see that? An open air theater, and that's the coliseums, the football fields, baseball fields. They have the open theaters for entertainment, for games, and whatever would approximate the life of a Greek city-state. See, that's why they call it Olympians. Olympia. The whole earth keep that. See, the whole earth is under the influence of the philosophy of the one they call Alexander the Great. This is the Greek philosophy showing you it's much less talk about the Greeks, but they got the heaviest influence on earth today, all around the globe. A Greek city-state in. The individuals were encouraged to take Greek names. You see that? Adopt Greek dress and Greek language in short to become Hellenized. See? The material aspect of Hellenism must have seemed attractive for large segments of the populations. Trade and commerce brought wealth to the new merchant class. Libraries and schools were welcomed by the scholar. Better housing and better food brought about a rise in the standard of living. This is what they're saying. It said many in Yashar'el. Now you talk about in the land of all our people that was left in that land during that time. It was the majority of people that were left in there was the people from Yada. Meaning Levi, the southern nation, was left. But say many in Yashar'el as elsewhere were glad to accept this veneer of Greek culture. Why they was glad to accept it? Because the oppression. Like our people today, they accept and adopt the culture of the Europeans, the same Greek philosophy. Remember, that's why when they go to the college and they join these sororities, all of it is patterned after the Greek culture. You see that? All the symbolism is always go back to Greek. And also when they go back to Egypt, remember, this culture went into, the same Greek culture went into Egypt. Brothers and sisters, these are the things you got to know. Because they captured that land as well from the Persians. It says, accept their veneer of Greek culture, way of life. It said, if adultery had been the stumbling block to Yashar'el in the pre-exilic period. See, she said before our people got exiled into Babylon, and all the time they kept, it was the stumbling block was idolatry. See, Elohim worship, God worship, idolatry, the worship of the images, the idols of heaven and the earth and the sea below was our stumbling block. The same old setup is today is our nation's stumbling block. Christianity, that's a block. Islam, the block. All religion is a block to our nation today. But right here, it took you back. See, it said, if that was a stumbling block in the pre-exilic period, Hellenism was the great post-exile temptation. You see that, brothers and sisters? Even unto this day. A lot of people don't know this history right here. It's a 3rd century BC writer observed in recent times under the foreign rule of the Persians and then of the Macedonians. See, Alexander from Macedonia, by whom the Persian Empire was overthrown, see, by the Greek, intermingling with other races has led to many of the traditional, see, the modern Yahudi ordinance, see, mingling with the other nation, called, see, the modern ordinance, losing their hold. See, that, remember the modern ordinance, the modern rule, the New Testament, losing their hold. Many Yahudi took Greek names: Jesus, Joseph, John, Mary, Peter, Paul, James. Many Yahudi took Greek names. I'm taking you back where it got started. You got to know this history. Accepted a school of Greek philosophy. See, they accepted this. Our ancestors accepted this way. All of these things were foretold. They would do these things. This is during the fourth kingdom. Even the fourth kingdom still stands today. That's why it's so great. This goes way back, brothers and sisters, before our people got taken to the transatlantic slave trade. Even the Arabs. This goes way back, brothers and sisters. This the history. You got to know that the missing link. You got to know this. Accepted a school of Greek philosophies. See, their way of thinking, thought, and tried to combine the wisdom of the Greeks with the faith of their fathers. See, the comment to combine. See, this go way back, the bind. A lot of people don't believe this, but this is exactly what took place to our people. And you're going to see our people had a hand in giving them this, our knowledge, our ancestry knowledge. Is that others resisted the Hellenists. See, Todayah for those. See, it's others, like one we know, the Maccabee family. They resisted the Hellenism, the colonization of Greek philosophy of this earth, the one world order. And became more and more engrossed in the study of their Torah. You see that? And to their law. At the age of 33, Alexander died in Babylon. For a number of years, the future of the Near East was uncertain. But the generals succeeded in dividing the empire among themselves. And the tide of Hellenism increased. See, it didn't decrease. It got divided into four. That then I'll show you. And it didn't diminish, it increased. Because now it's so divided and so diverse. See? It said the four beasts would be so diverse than all the three. It said, and the tide of Hellenism increased, not decreased. Wow. The Ptolemy of Egypt. Ptolemy of Egypt and Seleucid of Syria for among themselves for land and power. They were in complete agreement. See, remember that it's still the same fourth beast. But even though they fought among themselves, they was in complete agreement and concerning their social and cultural mission. So the historians, W.W. Todd, say that Alexander so changed the world that nothing after him could be as it was before. How far they want to go that? Here, I wanted to show you the piece if I could find it real quick. Let me go down. Let me read a little bit more, brothers and sisters. I wanted to read something about, okay, I think I'm getting close to it right here. It said, Ptolemy's, it said, following the death of Alexander the Great, the idea was first subject to antagonists. See, under the rule of antagonists after Alexander's death, still of Greek dominance. It's still a Greek dominance the whole earth today. It's in one of his generals, but it quickly fell to another general. See, it's all in the same family, but all they're fighting for land and dominance that I read you earlier, but all in the same fourth kingdom that was divided. It said Ptolemy the first surnamed Suter, deliverer. See what kind of name they have, deliverer, who sees Yashalom. See now, this one sees Yashalom on a Sabbath day in 320 BC. See, around 300 something years ago. I mean, not 300 something years ago, 2,300 something years ago. Bartholomew, whose kingdom centered in Egypt. See, Bartholomew is of Greek. His kingdom was centered in Egypt, dealt kindly with the Yahudi. Many of them settled in Alexandria. See, Alexandria was in the Greek territory. Keep that in mind, that the Greeks came in and built that city, Alexandria, which continued to be an important center of Yahudi thought. See, for many centuries, see, for many hundred years. See, they were studying in this place called Alexandria. And so it continued to be an important, see, it was very important center for, see, that they Jewish, but Yahudi thought. See, for thought, see, they teaching the ways for many centuries, see, for many years, hundreds of years, under Bartholomew II. So they were learning our ways. It's a Philadelphia. See, this Jesus, they got the U.S. that show you the philosophy, this suffix of U.S. J-U-S-U-S. Jesus, Jesus. It's the Alexandrian Yahudis translated. See, those Yahudis that lived in Alexandria in Greek translated they got Old Testament Torah into Greek. See, the Torah and the prophecy into Greek. This way got started in Greek, brothers and sisters. And Alexandria in Greek. Let me keep going. It said was later, in their Old Testament into Greek. This translation was later known, see, it wasn't at that time, but it was later known as the Septuagint, from the legend of 70, more correctly, 72, 6 from each of the tribe, 6 from each of the 12 tribes who were sent. Let me find a place. Sent from, let me go. So I can't get my thing focused real quick. Let me see, can I get a focus? Give me a time, I'm trying to get a focus. I can't get a focus on it right now. Let me see if I can get some light here, brother. If I get some, let me turn to the light. Let me turn to the light real quick. See, can I get a little bit more focus on this baby here? It said from Yada, or Yada, to produce. See, to make the Greek translation of the Hebrew scriptures. See, the Hebrew scriptures. It's right there for all the see brothers and sisters. Let me see how far I want to go back without reading any more information here. Let me just say, it said Yahudi in Palestine enjoyed a period of prosperity during Bartholomew times. Tribute tax was paid to the government in Egypt, see, but locally affairs were administered by the high priest who had been responsible for governing their people since the Persian times. See, this is history. This has been recorded, bro. Our people, I hope you listen to the brothers taking it to heart, because this is true. Because how could somebody know this knowledge? of ours. And they didn't translate it themselves, our own people. Wasn't no the King James Version, brothers and sisters, was in existence. We got to deal with the first translation to a foreign language. It's right here, brothers and sisters. This is the most realest source you can find right here, brothers and sisters, dealing with the fourth kingdom. They had the heavy influence and still got the heavy influence on this earth. This thing was so important to rule this earth. They knew they had to get a hold of the text. And our own people had hands on translating this from the Hebrew text to the Greek. And it says 72, they had picked 72, 6 from each tribe that was in Yada. Because remember, if you go back and check the history in Yada, people came when they didn't want to be part of the northern kingdom. It said people left from each of the tribes that was dedicated to Yah and fled down and strengthened Yada with all the tribe of Levi. You read that. It's in Chronicles. You can go there and read it and check and verify all these things for yourself. These are facts, brothers and sisters. So they took our people. That makes it seem so nice, like they were so loving to our people. They beat the hell out of our people. The Greeks hung children, babies on mothers' breasts and all these things. Made them eat swine. A lot of these things, a lot of our people start converting to these things after hardship. The same old thing going on in America. They get tired of the beatdown and then they fold and submit. That's why our people now don't even want to go home, because they're so submitting, so depending on this Greek government. It's still Greek, brothers and sisters. They can say America, they can say the Vatican, they can say Sweden, European or whatever, but this is still the dominance of the fourth kingdom, brothers and sisters, that's been divided. It's so diversified that all the other kingdoms before them, brothers and sisters, like Abias, this is no lie. I understand this, brothers and sisters, because it's so important that you have this knowledge. You meditate on it. You go over this knowledge. You research this knowledge. This is how it begins, brothers and sisters. This was the downfall of our people. And that's why the Father had to shut our whole nation down. Because our people got to the point they totally abandoned Yah. They took the bribes from the Europeans, the Greek nation. And that's why our people would kill you today for this Greek nation. They're so far out of touch of what really took place with our people. This is the true history, brothers and sisters. Even some of them been fabricated, but 99% of it is true. Because you can see that. It's so plain. You can see the whole setup. The whole setup is built around this Greek philosophy, brothers and sisters. To the point of they hide it so much you don't even know Greek is the central figure. Is our number one enemy beside Esau. Brothers and sisters. These are the facts with that. I leave you with that. Toda Yah.